Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today I'm bringing you a Kickstarter preview for a brand new game coming in the Dark Tomb series. That's going to be Dark Tomb Bloodthorn Island. Now, like I said, this is a sponsored preview, so as always, the link will be in the top of the video description down below. Swing over there if you're into dungeon crawls, and especially if you like pocket-size, travel-size games, because there's a lot in store for you here in, like I said, a sort of pocket-size dungeon crawl. Now, the core premise of Dark Tomb is that you're going to be going through a series of stages. It's a 1 to 5 player game with 4 players playing cooperatively and 1 player potentially controlling the monsters that you're fighting. Every stage or scenario will be variable. You'll have different cards that lay out the map depending on the puzzle that you're trying to solve. You'll have different items that you're getting, different monsters that you're fighting, and different heroes that you're taking on the adventure, each with their own special abilities. You're going to be playing through a slight narrative story, but the core premise is that any stage can be played at any time, giving you any type of puzzle or challenge you want to sit down and face. Every game will take anywhere from 15 to maybe 25 minutes, and you can recycle it and continue doing it over and over again. Because, like I said, due to the variability, there's a variety of ways to play and approach each puzzle presented here in the game. Now, one of the biggest appeals of Dark Tomb is going to be the nature of its size. I mean, this is a full dungeon crawl game in about a deck of cards. You have a lot that's contained in here, though. From, like I said, the various stages. Each box will come with 3 core stages, different heroes and creatures, items, abilities, and the map. When you first get the game, you'll open it up and you'll actually start with sort of a blank slate. I'll show you here with a brand new stage. I have Shadow River, Stage 2. I just nearly got decimated on Stage 1. I don't want to talk about it, but Shadow River, Stage 2. This is going to set up the narrative, the puzzle that you're trying to solve. Then you're going to have the different creatures that you're going to be fighting. A trapped ray, a rock gill, a strava. Then you'll have the items that you could find. A net, a ore, a mine, a time stop, and then you'll have your map. This map will go face down in whatever pattern this game shows. For now, we're going to be sailing a boat down a river, so it's going to go straight down in a line. You'll see the different map tiles that we have, each indicating where your starting figures are going to be, where the boat's going to be moving, the rapids are going to be on the tile itself, and the creatures, the monsters, and the items that you're going to be fighting and trying to work your way around. That's going to be an entire game mode there. You'll have your heroes that you can choose from. Now, I've already chose Forged and Zan, but I also could have picked Von Clay and Lenara. They each are going to have their own different abilities depending on what their archetype is. You have your classics, like we have, our Forge here is going to be our heavy hitter, our dwarf-style guy. We have Zan here, who's going to be a little bit more of our range. She also wields some magic from time to time. And we have the different items that you're going to find. These will change depending on what map or stage you're playing. In the stage I just played, I found a plank, which allowed me to hop from one area of the dock to another area of the dock. We were trying to scramble and grab this boat. And I also found a hypnotic item, which allowed me to actually manipulate and maneuver creatures around the board. You'll have cards that represent the creatures, a die to roll to determine your hits, and a bunch of little cubes that'll pop out here onto the main board to show where your figures are, show where the monsters are, and show where the items are as they pop up around the terrain. From there, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to be taking action with my heroes. I can take a basic action, which is a move action with them, based on their movement range. Then I can take my cube and I can select any one of the 4 actions they have. Usually the top 2 actions are going to be something more violent or aggressive. Like I have Stone Heave and I have Mace Blow. Stone Heave has a +3 to the dice roll, so the chance to hit and deal damage. A 3 to 5 on the range, and it can target multiple enemies. It will do 1 damage if it hits. Mace Blow has a +1 to the dice roll, so not as good. A 1 range, which means I need to be right next to my enemy, but hear me out, 2 damage. Not too bad. When I use one of these attacks, I'll be rolling the die. No, a 20 would get me an extra damage, but that's not what I normally roll. I normally roll more like something like a 6. A 6 would be modified by Stone Heave by adding +3 to it. Then I check the armor level of whoever I was attacking. A 12 for the Drezel and a 14 for the Wolfman. I wouldn't have hit either of those, which is about how my game went. And then, of course, I'd continue the cycle, moving over to my more effective character, which this last game was Zan by far. The bottom 2 abilities are usually supplemental abilities, things like an extra move. Here we have a dash, move up to 4 additional spaces, and a frantic charge. -5 to my dice roll, I have to be 1 away from the enemy, but I'll deal 3 damage. The price is, though, my defenses go down by 2 the next sequence, the next stage. So the next time the monsters act and try to attack me, I will have 12 armor instead of 14. So you have to decide when and how you take your risks. Usually the killing blow is a good time to do that, but what happened to me is I ended up missing the killing blow and then getting murdered back. Zan over here has her core abilities. Like I said, she's more of the archer, so she has a guided arrow and an arrow jab. The guided arrow can go around corners, which is very nice, but you have to be at range to do it. And an arrow jab is just like taking the end of an arrow and stabbing the person that's in front of you. Not as effective, but will do 1 damage if you're able to connect with them. Then we have a dash and a heal ability, which could heal herself or anyone else around her. That's what I considered kind of magical. I like to think she's imbued with like the spirit of the forest a bit. Archers usually are. We've all seen Lord of the Rings. Legolas had to have special powers. It wasn't just that he was an elf. Then she, of course, has her own movement, her own armor, and her own general HP. After all the characters are gone on the table, you'll determine the monsters that want to go. In our game, we have the Wharfman and the Drezel. Now, it'll always go top to bottom, left to right, and so usually my Wharfman was going first. In this case, the Wharfman had an armor of 14, plus 4 to his attack, wanted to hit me within a range of 2 to 5, and would deal 2 damage. He was nasty. The Drezel here had an armor of 12, plus 6 to his attack, wanted to be right next to me, and would hit for 1 damage. From there, it's a matter of trying to solve whatever puzzle is presented to you. In this first scenario, I was spawning here into the docks, and trying my best to scramble across them, attack any and defeat any creatures that spawned up, uncover all of the different docks that we had in front of us, and find this boat so we could hop on it to escape. As you've already seen, Stage 2 seems like we're going to be sailing down a river with some new mechanics there that we have to deal with. Moving into the currents, getting pulled farther and farther forward, and trying to attack creatures that are bobbing and weaving underneath our boat as we move down. It's not the easiest scenario. In fact, these scenarios get more and more complex as they go on. You're actually moving towards the island, the Bloodthorn Island, trying to find a hidden lock and key and break a gate open, while being swarmed by enemies that seem like they've scaled in power significantly. Between every stage of scenario, you will be letting go of the items that you find, since they are scenario specific, and you'll be healing back to max. So you'll be able to play through with your characters and any combination of characters that are at the table, but you won't be carrying items through from one stage to another. This allows each stage to feel unique and allow you to feel like you're discovering things that give you special powers and abilities that are accurate to what the scenario is you're playing. I mean, when I'm sailing down a river on a boat, I don't need the ability to hop over planks of wood. And that's the core game. That's the core premise. The idea behind the Dark Tomb series is an approachable, accessible, yet challenging dungeon crawl. And I think this does this. If you enjoy a dungeon crawl experience, if you like sitting down for 15 to 25 minutes, playing through a quick game, a quick scenario, and even maybe playing for a full hour to get through a full little mini campaign, this gives you that in spades. It's a great game to come on a picnic, hiking, or on a long road trip, and because it doesn't have a very large footprint, you could really play it in almost any environment. I could even imagine sitting and playing with the character cards in my hand, and this really being the only thing on the table, along with a little corner to roll my die, or a die sap that was randomizing those numbers as I go. So, there you have it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you're going to be backing this over on Kickstarter. Please follow the link in the top of the video description to swing over. I'm going to go do, I think, a gameplay of this to show off how some of the mechanics work and prove that I'm not as bad at this game as all of my other plays seem to indicate. I mean, Shira and I lost the first game we played. I've struggled with the next ones, and right before filming this, I played the first scenario here and just barely made it out alive. I figure if I have a recorded gameplay showing that I succeed, it'll be good evidence to counter all the other stuff that I personally know. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Whatever the case, though, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some dungeon crawls. After all, they're a fantastic genre. We'll see you next time.